When it goes to euphoniums and tubas, there are lots of different instruments here too. Most of our beginner models tend to be 3 valves versus 4 valves, and that's true of tubas as it is of euphoniums. I am more a proponent of trying to get them on a 4-valve instrument earlier, mainly for one reason. They gain better fingering combinations, which will allow for better intonation and greater dexterity and technicality in their playing at a much earlier age. If you use just a 3-valve, the main difference is for your young players, any 2 or 1 and 3 combination that's played like this, which is an awkward thing to grab, particularly when you're moving something like this, it allows all that to be played now on a 4th valve. Now 4th valves are usually configured out here with the pinky on beginner and intermediate size horns. In euphoniums, sometimes they're positioned out here on the side. Don't worry about that. They'll just get used to the coordination of it. But I would strongly encourage, if you're going to buy for your own band room, or you're going to suggest, or mom and dad want a suggestion of horn to buy for their son or daughter to take home, get them to look at, instead of a 3-valve instrument, a 4-valve instrument. From any mainline manufacturer, they all make them. There's also, in terms of euphonium, large bore and small bore too. What I said about the trombone is the same, is true here on the euphonium as well. The small bore will allow them to use just a little less air to be able to play, thereby making it slightly easier to make a big sound on. But getting a large bore instrument will give you, as a band director, potentially a little bit more resonant sound out of your euphonium players. And they'll also gain an instrument that might serve them a little longer in the future. So if I were buying these instruments for my band room, I would probably buy a collection of a few small bore instruments in 4 valves and a few large bore 4-valve instruments too. That way I can match the player to the euphonium. Same thing's true of tuba. One thing to consider on tubas though is that there are top action, like this here euphonium, and there are front action where the valves will be down here in front. I am a larger fan of the front action instruments only because I think it gets the hand in a more relaxed position. A tuba is a big instrument, so on a top action tuba, when the student has the horn properly placed, they may have their arm way up here working valves up here, and it's rather awkward. It sometimes generates some right arm tension. So when you're looking to buy them, think about a front action which will bring them the hand around the tuba and put them in a more comfortable and relaxed state when they play. Again, manufacturers, I like a lot of different manufacturers' instruments. The key is look for ones that have the kind of valve placement, 4 valves, front action tubas, or 4-valve euphoniums that you like. And I think with the tubas and euphoniums, you might want to think also about the finish you have on those. These instruments tend to get banged up pretty easily. And anytime you bang up a lacquer instrument and knock that dent out, the lacquer comes off that spot forever, unless they spray it with spray lacquer, and then it comes off about 6 months after the repair. So if you have the money in your budget, look for instruments that are silver plated because the plating stays on in spite of the dents, holds up better to skin acids, and I think you'll have a better looking instrument for a longer period of time in your band room. If that's not in the budget, a lacquered instrument plays just as beautifully. You just might have to swallow it and have a bad-looking tuba section in terms of the cosmetic of their instrument. But a dent or a lack of any lacquer on an instrument doesn't affect the way it plays.